I've always found basketball locker rooms to be, for the most part, great. There's 12 to 15 players, so there's not that many players you have to keep track of or deal with, as opposed to, say, like 65 players in an NFL locker room. But I mean, it's a weird environment. I mean, dudes are taking their clothes off and getting dressed and pissed off or mad that they either, did something or they lost a game, and you kind of have to navigate those minefields a little bit.
About the players, do they have a sense of decorum?
I mean, if they have common sense, and
Do they?
not all of them do.
Most of the time in an NBA locker room, I mean, there's a cooling off period. So by the time we get in there, we've talked to the coach already. They've had plenty of time, and these guys can come in fully dressed, and many of them do. They don't, the locker room is not really where they're getting dressed and undressed anymore. There's a lounge in the back and all these other areas that we are not allowed anywhere near. So, and guys like Carmelo Anthony, for instance, I covered the Knicks for a long time. Carmelo doesn't come out until like an hour after everybody else because he's been back there like working on like his hat and his ascot and whatever else his like fashion guru has handed him for the day. And he's not alone in that, by the way. Like when you see like Westbrook and Harden and all these other guys who are now like they're really into the fashion thing, like they've got like fashion consultants. Like this is not stuff that was going on 10 years ago.
The proliferation of the media has kind of created a more corporate environment too. I think these guys realize they have more to lose. So like the Warriors, I mean, they actually do almost like press conferences at home now, basically at every game, rather than even doing some of the guys in the locker room. So that's a more formal setting. And then like when they're on the road, they'll be outside the locker room, kind of set up for like a TV shot, where maybe that wasn't how they would have done it when they were, not as good 5 years ago. Going back to your story about Jay, I mean, Kevin Durant's rookie year, when he came to play the Blazers as a member of the Sonics, I was the only person there talking to him before the game, asking him, why didn't the Blazers draft him, obviously. And today, how many people were talking to him at media day? It's like 300.
That life, like if you want to have a family and kids, is not the best case. And I knew once I got married that I couldn't do that life because I was on the road for probably half of the year, and is not the dream job that, yes, you are going into games for free, but it's not the dream kid job that you anticipate when you're younger. Reality hits fast, but there's still something magical to me, I think, about walking into an NBA arena, and even if you've seen it a million times, to see the best players play in the world.
The game and media coverage of the game is being split into 1,000 different pieces now. So even when Jonathan or I write a story, like a 4,000-word feature for Bleacher Report, the story runs, okay? There's a start and an end and a bunch of cool photos and maybe some GIFs attached to it and everything else, and they do an amazing job with that. Then our social media team is going to parse out like a couple of killer quotes from the story or some killer little just fact and make one of those like graphic like cards, like a virtual card, and that might go on the Instagram account or the Snapchat or Twitter or all of them. Again, stuff that we don't ever even see. There's an amazing programming and social media team that do all that stuff.
When I wrote something that I really liked, that I never would look at it again, it'd just be out of sight, out of mind. And that's like a luxury that we don't have anymore. Like you guys probably do this with your stories. You're probably doing podcasts about your stories afterwards. You might do a podcast to promote your story before it even goes up. You got to tweet about it multiple times. Now they're saying they want us potentially to do like a Facebook Live video, like teasing our story beforehand. I mean, there's sort of like this entrepreneurial spirit that's really invading this writing space, which 7 years ago, like I never would have even conceived of any of that.
What is a piece of writing if not a totally entrepreneurial, self-generated, self-owned? You have to, even if you have a narrow brief to cover what just happened, it's up to you to figure out what to say.
But it's also given us an ability that we didn't have before. That it used to be I hit send, and then the editors, they do whatever they're going to do, and it goes in the paper the next morning, and that's the end of it. And what social media has given us the opportunity to do is to promote it all. And it may. It's sometimes time consuming, but if I'm really proud of something, I can tweet the living shit out of it for 24 hours and they go, you haven't read it yet, read it now. it's great, it's empowering. It's not something that writers had the ability to do before, because the publishing aspect of it was way out of our hands. And so we have more ability to do that.